I need help. Urgently. I don't know how much time I've brought myself. Certainly not enough to just wait this out. Because I already tried. That stupid disbelief might end up killing me. But we'll get to that later. I guess starting at the beginning is the best idea. My name is Hannah, and I've not been the best person all my life. Most of my life, actually. You remember that one girl in school? The one who made fun of your family for being poorer than hers? Or made fun of you because of something out of your control, like a scar? Yeah, that's me. My favorite target was this one girl. I think her name might have been Riley. I never bothered to learn her name. I always called her some variant of Shedder or Itchy. Even in my own mind. She suffers from some form of psoriasis, or maybe it was eczema. I never bothered to learn what type. If you had asked me a week ago, I would have said she had a skin disorder. But I know better now. If what she dealt with was anything like what I'm dealing with, it truly was suffering. I bullied her for it. Heavily. I made her everyday life a living hell. I can't remember the number of things I smeared onto the itchy, angry, red patches of her skin, trying to figure out which one would make it hurt worse. I called her names and humiliated her in front of everyone she knew. There wasn't any form of torment that I didn't put her through. I don't know why the teachers never stopped me. A failure of the education system, I guess. They could teach me math, but they couldn't teach me how to be a decent human being. Funny. I bullied that poor girl from kindergarten through high school, until maybe half a year ago. I would have done it for longer. I know I would have, if I had stayed in the state. I didn't. I moved out and headed to college, where I'm currently hiding out in a cheap apartment. The good news about that is my dead body will probably be found when the landlord comes looking for rent, or whenever they find a new tenant. I know this is for me asking for help, not me giving a confession of all the bad things in my life. Trust me, the list would be much longer if I was doing that. I just thought it was important to mention because I think what's happening is connected to me doing that. For all I know, it's some kind of divine punishment for what I've done. Thing is, I don't know what it is, and neither do several doctors I've gone to. All I do know is that I wanted to stop. It started maybe 2 months ago. The first patch was on my hand. It was red, itchy, and irritated from me acting on the urge to scratch at it. It felt horrible, like dry, brittle reptile skin. A rash. That's what I thought it was. Your run-of-the-mill rash. I must have touched something like poison ivy. That's how I reasoned it. I got myself some cream to put on it, and thought that would be the end of it. Needless to say, it wasn't. It spread, and quickly. By the end of the first month, most of my body was covered in that red, itchy skin. I had started my endless trips to the doctor once it began spreading up my arm. I stopped once it consumed 2 of my limbs and half of my torso. What good would it do? None of them knew what it was, and the most any of them could do was give me more cream or lotion to rub on it. Oh god, the lotion. It's the only break I get from the itchiness, from the pain. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It won't make the spots that have flared up stop, or become less irritated. What it will do is make it hurt less and reduce the urge to itch. At first, it was easy to put on. I just had to run it on my arm. Rubbing that shit across your entire body isn't so simple. I go through at least a tube of that stuff a day, and it's not cheap. The itchiness is the worst part of it. It's constant, grating agony. It never stops. It never lets up. Most nights, I barely get any sleep. I was so itchy, I couldn't think of anything else. Couldn't get enough peace to finally fall into the blissful void of sleep. It was one of the 3 things that made it go away for a little while. The second being the previous mentioned lotion. And the third was giving into the urge. It took me until maybe a week ago to figure out the right pressure and intensity of scratching I had to use. If it was too little, it would do nothing but make the itching worse. If it was too much, I'd scratch my skin raw. The rawness of the skin had made putting the lotion on my skin burn like hell. But it still had to be done. I was desperate. I still am. I know, this probably sounds like a normal skin issue. I know it seems like I'm just an unlucky woman who finally got what she deserved. The doctors thought the same thing, even if they didn't know exactly what condition or disorder had finally popped up. They convinced me of the same thing. I'd finally accepted that this was just my life now, and that I'd have to learn to live with it. And then, the peeling started. I thought I had it down. I thought I knew how much pressure and intensity I had to scratch with. No, I knew that I knew how hard I had to scratch. It was my skin that changed, not my actions. I was itchy. I was itchy and wanted to scratch. That was all. So I did. I almost didn't notice that after a moment, my fingernails had turned red. I had scratched my skin off. It flaked and it peeled and it had just come off. It was like pulling a cloth off a table. Just poof. It was on my body one moment and it was gone the next. I freaked out, went to the hospital. They didn't believe that was what happened. According to them, what I claimed happened to the degree it happened wasn't possible. I couldn't have sheared that much skin off just by scratching a little itch. But I did. I haven't gone back to them since. I went to the store and bought as much gauze and bandages and ointment as I could, and I've been holding up in my apartment ever since. Almost every part of my body has some type of bandage on it. Some part of it having been lost, and it's gotten worse. The wounds have slowed healing. They stop bleeding later rather than sooner. It's become easier to lose my skin. Sometimes when I bump against things, it'll just shed off, peel. Typing this hurts like hell. My fingers are bleeding, and I can't feel my fingertips anymore. Only the dull, everlasting pain. My keyboard is going to be a nightmare to clean if I survive this. That's funny, right? Here I am, potentially looking at the cause of my death straight in the face, and all I can think about is my keyboard being dirty. I look and feel like a mummy, but that's not even the worst part. I've had to literally stitch myself back together. My right arm has a band of embroidery thread on it where I tried to stop the skin from falling off. I was desperate, and it paid off. The bad part is that I can't get most of my wounds fast enough to stop it. Even if I could, I don't want to. I almost passed out from the pain, and it took forever. And besides, it's a miserable existence to look and feel like a real-life Frankenstein. I want it to stop. I want it to be over. I don't know why this is happening, but I know it's not normal. I know this isn't supposed to happen, but it is. and I know why. It's because of her. I don't know if it's her directly or some higher power finally giving me what I deserve, but it has to be because of her. Because of what I did to her. Riley, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything I put you through, and I'm sorry it took me so long to finally feel sympathy. I'm sorry this is what it took. It hurts. It hurts so bad. I've lost so much. So much. My skin is a patchwork of red burning rash and red aching wounds. I think I've lost almost half of the top layer of my skin. They've slowly gotten deeper, but still not deep enough to kill me. Just enough to take a little more from me. Day by day, it's taken my skin, my spirit, my joy. Hell, it's even taken my hair, because my scalp isn't immune to whatever is causing me to lose my skin. So I'm begging, if anyone knows how to make the bleeding, the pain, the wounds stop, please tell me what I have to do. I don't care what extent I have to go to. I'll do anything to make it stop. I don't care if you can fix the main problem, or if you can fix the symptoms. Just please make it stop, because none of it has. Even as my skin is literally dropping off my bones like it's fucking paper, I'm still scratching. The itching, it's only gotten worse. I'm so itchy. It's unbearable, and it feels like whatever high power there maybe is laughing at me, because it knows I can't help but give in. It knows that every moment I have to choose. The pain of the flesh ripping from itself, or the pain of my skin begging for release from its pain. It knows that every moment of my life is a waking, breathing nightmare, and it knows that I probably deserve this. It knows that I'm itchy. God, I'm so itchy. Shout out to my superfans, Sweet Black Swan, Casey, and Brooklyn. I really appreciate you guys supporting my channel, and I really look forward to making more content for everyone.